Veer Sanghvi, about these elections, it's others who've been communal in their messaging, either covertly or indirectly or overtly, but Modi has not been communal at all, and that seems to have done two things. One, it's helped consolidate other castes, and even amongst Muslims, there isn't a consolidation happening against Modi. Veer Sanghvi.
Yeah, I think actually he's played his cards remarkably well. We had worried, most of us had worried, that the BJP would try and fight this election by communalizing the electorate in UP and Bihar. Instead, they took what seems like, in retrospect, a fairly gutsy decision to go with the plank of governance. They worked out quite quickly that at the national level, the important thing was that the Congress was going to lose the vote. The question was who got it. There was no need to create a communal divide and risk alienating the Muslims. Judging by these results, the strategy seems to have worked. The Muslims clearly don't like Modi. No Turkey is going to vote for an early Christmas. But on the other hand, they don't fear him enough to say we've got to vote for the Congress to keep Modi out of power, which was the Congress's only hope. And as for the backward caste, which is an interesting figure you've brought out, most of the aspirational Indians we talk about are from the backward caste. So yes, the BJP support in the backward caste is partly a caste-based identity thing, but it's also an aspirational thing.
Sudhanshu Trivedi, does it worry you though that a lot of the surge in the BJP vote share is on account of Narendra Modi's presence in Uttar Pradesh? It's not as if the BJP itself has come back to life. Kalyan Singh's popularity ratings for the best chief minister is only 7%. Rajnath Singh, who you work with very closely, comes at 6%. 7% is also Rita Bahuguna Joshi. So Kalyan Singh and Rita Bahuguna Joshi are at the same level. It's only Modi, and he's not obviously in the rank, in the list of chief ministerial candidates. So only when it comes to the prime ministerial race that Modi is heads and shoulders above the others. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
If you should understand the fact that BJP has officially projected Shri Narendra Modi as a prime ministerial candidate. So obviously you cannot separately analyze Shri Narendra Modi's influence and BJP's influence.
No, you can. We asked a very simple question, and I want our producers to put that on the screen. Amongst the list of people who are possible chief ministerial candidates, who do you think is the best? Mayawati came at number 1 with 28%, and we saw Kalyan Singh with 7%. That's how much the gap is between Mayawati and your number 1 leader to be chief minister.
And Rahul, even on the question when we asked which party can solve this issue, the BJP gets 27%, others get 25%. So if they don't see, at least in UP, they don't see BJP as the answer to their...
Yes,
they don't.
Sudhanshu Trivedi must answer. GVL Narasimha Rao also wants to come in. This is a Modi surge, not a BJP surge. Sudhanshu Trivedi.
BJP is definitely getting benefited because of the immense popularity of Shri Narendra Modi. But as far as you are asking about the chief ministership, this is not going to be the Vidhan Sabha election.
You're saying it doesn't matter.
When the Vidhan Sabha elections will come.
Cherry picking.
No. Who is the BJP's candidate and who is going to form the government?
Okay, GVL wants to come in and make a point as well.
The only question is...
In the BSP, people know who their chief ministerial candidate is. In the SP, people know who the leader is. In the BJP, we have not announced any chief ministerial candidate. And Shri Rajnath Singh is our national president. He is not running for the office of chief minister.
Let's add their vote share. Let's add Kalyan Singh and Rajnath Singh together. 8 and 7 is 15%.
It's a reality that the BJP in 2012 is a much weaker force than BJP in 1990s. There can be no, I think, going back on that reality. But we are certainly now on the back of Narendra Modi's national popularity, but we are actually surging ahead. So it's
that's a worry for the BJP in the future. I think the numbers make the point, regardless of what Sudhanshu Trivedi and GVL are saying.
No, but it's because of the national pull. National pull.
Ashok Lahiri, I want you to explain to our viewers the OBC factor. Now, it's Samajwadi Party, which is the dominant OBC party in Uttar Pradesh. Despite that, Modi and the BJP are pulling more OBC voters than any other party, which shows this whole idea, and Manishankar Iyer is now with us, where he mocked the chaiwala. It's the chaiwala and that aspiration that he reaches out to, that a chaiwala can be prime minister, that's working wonders amongst the OBCs.
See, the fact of the matter is, I do believe that the effect of caste is very much there, but is going down over time. Because if you look at the Congress support, for example, what I found very interesting is that whether it's upper caste, OBC, Dalits, it's more or less 7-8% from across the castes. There is some difference among the other parties, but it's because of historical reasons. There is loyalty that grows. Now, coming back to this fact that Mr. Modi happens to be a backward caste, I think may have contributed. And his humble beginnings may appeal to some people. That
maybe not those who come from St. Stephen's, or at least Manishankar Iyer. Do you think that gambit backfired terribly? You were pulled up today also by Rahul Gandhi saying that he disassociates from your comments, Mr. Iyer.
I think that's a cheap remark, unworthy of you. Please go back to serious matters.
No, but you must answer this question.
Will you please go back to the serious matters
which is
we're talking about?
Yeah, so my point is that undoubtedly, as the numbers show, now there was another point that was made by one of your commentators from there, that opinion poll, whether it will be proved to be right or not. See, the elections are 3 months from now. The campaigns are just heating up. Who knows what other things will crop up in the meantime, and how the Modi wave will work, or how Congress's fortunes will change. So we'll never be able to find out whether these numbers at this point of time were correct or not. But any party that is, the opinion poll is showing that it has an advantage, it definitely will boost their morale. And in psephology, there are two terms. One is the bandwagon effect. Everyone wants to be with the winner.
Sure.
The other is the underdog effect, that I feel sympathy. Poor guy, they're losing, let me vote for them. But in this situation, what will happen, there is a possibility that the bandwagon effect, I mean, nothing succeeds like success. So if this campaign picks up, I see a genuine possibility that
I want Mr. Iyer to answer that question. Mr. Iyer, you would permit me, sir, with respect, to ask you about your pot shot at Modi being a chaiwala, vis-a-vis how we're seeing OBCs in Uttar Pradesh rally behind Modi, so much so that he's now pulling more OBC vote than even the Samajwadi Party, sir.
While refusing your desperate attempt to take me back to a minor controversy, I wish to point out to you that the OBC factor in regard to Mr. Modi's background has always been played up by the BJP itself and by several commentators as something that will change the upper caste Brahminical face of the BJP. So if there is some impact of this in Uttar Pradesh, I'm sure this is not a surprise to me. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. But I have always wondered whether the approach to analyzing elections in India in terms of caste is at all valid. For after all, the caste composition of Uttar Pradesh has not changed over decades. And yet, party popularities have varied enormously over decades. So I think the idea that castes somehow coalesce and vote in only one direction is untrue.
Sure.
All castes,
I think the numbers reflect that.
Numbers
reflect that there's no one party which bags an overwhelming portion of one caste, but numbers also reflect that certain parties receive more than others of certain castes.
With respect, to use your favorite expression before you are disrespectful to me. With disrespect, might I point out that I was in the middle of an argument.
Yes.
And you might let me finish it. Precisely because castes do not vote all the time as one community, except perhaps in the case of the Muslim community when it feels threatened. We are going to see variations taking place as we go through an election process. As of now, there is no doubt in my mind that the most popular party in Uttar Pradesh is Mayawati's party. That other parties, particularly the Mulayam Singh Yadav party, has had a precipitate fall in support compared to where it was when we last met in this room, which was the UP election. And the Congress has more or less stagnated where it is.
So one of the interesting points you made is about when Muslims are scared. But we're seeing attempts being made to scare the community. And I'm not just going to blame your party for doing it. There are several things that have been done where attempts are being made to scare to build the spectre of Modi coming to power and to create a fear psychosis.
I completely reject the suggestion that anyone needs to scare the Muslims. The Muslims are as much a part of India as anybody else. And if they see from the background of an individual that his attitudes are communal, they are going to take one view, and if they see that the attitudes are secular, they're going to take another view.
May I ask Mr. Iyer about this? I mean, I'm actually delighted that you said that caste is not an overriding consideration. But ever since M.N. Srinivas wrote Caste and Politics, so in Karnataka, for example, Lingayats and Vokkaligas, they continue to have a divide, at least according to the media. The Kammas and the Reddys. Yeah. Now, when we see the voting support of SP and BSP and even BJP, we find that there is some correlation between castes and the political loyalties. So can you say that it's not the consolidation of these parties among their favorite caste groups that is not leading to the political result?
Some correlation is quite different from suggesting that it is all caste-based. Yes. And if I may take you behind M.N. Srinivas, there was a book written in the 1950s which was based on research in Karnataka, which brought out the divide between the Vokkaligas and the Lingayats, and it was called India, the Most Dangerous Decade. The suggestion was that India's democracy was going to collapse at the end of the 50s. It hasn't. And in all political parties, including my own, we have Vokkaligas and Lingayats within the Congress as within other parties, and equally Kammas and Reddys in all parties, including the Congress.